Hello everyone, welcome to Seriously Social. This is Alex Romanovich of Social to Be, and today we have our two distinguished guests from a company called Global Licensing Audit Services, Vikram and Venkatramani. Welcome. We're happy to have you with us talking about licensing audits.
We're happy to be here.
Excellent.
Thank you for having us.
First question I'd like to ask is more of a general question. License audits. Sounds boring. Tell us a little bit more about why it can be exciting for somebody, especially a large manufacturer or a technology company or somebody like that.
It's a good point. I mean, audit is a boring word to a lot of people. I think it's where the license audit can be interesting is license audit means money, because the licensing world wouldn't exist today unless the technology transforms itself into money. And the licensing process is all about making sure the compensation by the licensee to the licensor is for all the efforts of the licensors. And today we wouldn't exist without new technologies. So somebody has to pay for those research, development, and development of new products. So why it becomes interesting is license audit is what make sure there's compliance and the licensees account for what they are responsible, and licensors get what is due share for all the efforts that they made. So in essence, I think license audit is a positive thing for the industry, for a lot of the licensors, and we've generated a lot of money, millions of dollars for our clients.
Well, that's the exciting part, of course. Now, you're a global company as well. You have offices here in the United States. You also do a lot of business in Asia, in places like Singapore and China and Japan. I'm curious, in lieu of some of the recent lawsuits, like Apple suing Samsung, one of the largest South Korean players and so forth, in terms of patent infringement, is this a standard, is this a common thing in the industry in terms of those types of abuses?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You'll find that underpayments or even non-reporting of royalties is extremely common in various industries, and that's one of the reasons that we kind of suggest that licensors push for a good audit program and and they keep it going every year, so that they keep the licensees honest, but at the same time, a lot of the licensees don't really know what they're doing wrong. So these audits don't only find money for the licensors, but they also assist the licensees in coming up with a good reporting program.
I think you asked a question about Apple, as a Samsung.
Right.
I think in the licensing industry, the litigation is the last option. I mean, a lot of the other procedures are exhausted before they would really go for litigation, because the relationship has to continue. So I'm sure Apple and Samsung would want to continue their relationship. But if there is an infringement and if the industry suffers as a result of that, obviously litigation is the only the way to compensate themselves. And it's one of the biggest cases of recent times, I think, where Samsung did agree to compensate Apple. Right. I think it's $1 billion.
Well, in this particular case, actually, Samsung did not license anything from Apple, right?
I think the essence of the case was that Samsung copied some of the patents or the technologies of Apple,
right? And
I think that was proven in the court. I think that's how the damages were awarded.
So that's a case where Samsung did not license anything from the company. Obviously, there are cases where a company licenses something, licenses technology, or be it technology or media or content, or what have you. And in that particular case, if violations do take place, what type of violations are they? I'm just curious.
Sure. I mean, in terms of violations, I mean, sometimes, well, first we have to make sure that the license there is an agreement associated to a particular patent.
Okay.
So that's really the first step that any licensor goes through, is make sure they identify, the licensees, sign agreements, and then those agreements have these audit rights and audit clauses within them.
So you actually would start with the auditing the agreement first.
Correct. I mean, these are effectively compliance audits.
Right.
So we want to make sure that there is compliance with the terms of the agreement. Now, in terms of, so that's really what we do, what we specialize in, is making sure after there's an agreement in place, we make sure that the terms of the agreement are complied with. In the cases where there are no agreements, well, I mean, we can also provide some local intelligence, and find out some, do some market research for various clients. But our real expertise comes in, after the agreement's in place and exercising of the audit clause.
Interesting. Now, we're in a very vibrant investment environment right now. There are a lot of investors out there, investing all kinds of money into startups and, helping, maybe even to a certain extent, helping fund a number of projects with some of the larger brands and so forth. How important it is for the investors as part of their due diligence process to actually have that, have your services in the back of their mind?
I think investors, obviously, they will look for, why would I want to invest, in a company like Global Licensing Audit Services.
Right.
I think what's going to make sense for them is that it would be a professional service company, and it's profitable, and it has a good, solid client base, and then they would then be able to utilize the services as a platform for a number of their own programs. So I think some of the key things that they would be looking for, we have to satisfy their requirements.
So, even something as simple as just helping to value a company or value their portfolio of licenses or intellectual property, that's really where, we could come in and assist various investors.
I think a lot of the startups don't even realize that some of the technologies they're developing could be licensed. When you think about it, I mean, we work with a lot of the startups as well, and they're somewhat new to this whole idea of licensing their products to others. Is the startup community your target audience as well? I mean, is this something that you can value? You provide value to the startup community?
Absolutely. I mean, I think our client base could be any company with intellectual property that they have that they go out and get a license agreement for. They can go find these licensees that are using their technology, sign these agreements, and automatically, as long as there's the audit clause, they could become one of our clients.
Right. I think they also, the startup companies come with fresh ideas, and I think that helps to remove some of the old barriers. So I think it's easier for us to work with some of the startup companies as well. And I think we welcome that idea. So
yeah.
That's why I think Global Licensing Audit Services is positioning ourselves that we can service different types of industries. And I think the major part of our work has been on the patent licensing, but certainly it doesn't exclude us from the digital media and as well as the music industry, and we've done some work on that. So I think we would like to diversify our interest and certainly invite some investors who are also startups.
Excellent, excellent. Your slogan is trust but audit. It's kind of catchy. Is trust really something that's being tested between the two partners or two, licensee, licensor, when the audit, comes into place?
I think the basis of trust is really the relationship that you have. And the approach that we always take is, it's very similar to the innocent until proven guilty theories. We never go in knowing or accusing someone of cheating. It's more of you approach them, you find the facts, and then you make sure that you set up the relationship so that they know you can be trusted, but then you've started to trust them. Mm. You trust them until you find some evidence that proves otherwise. So, and the actual slogan, Trust but Audit, the basis of it is, whether it's with our clients, the licensors, where we can have a trusting relationship, or even with the licensees that we visit, we start off on the basis of trust, but then we also say, we do have to audit because of these audit clauses and to keep people honest and, in the normal course of business, but at the same time, you do the audit to find the evidence to support either which way.
Right, right. Well, thank you very much for joining us and sharing some thoughts and ideas with us. Certainly in the world of innovation and breakthrough technologies, not many people think of this particular topic, which is the foundation of trust, which is the foundation of longevity and profitability to a certain extent. We'd love to talk to you some more in the future.
Sure, I think I would be happy to share our views with you. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
thank you.